の名前はアストルフォ。
My favorite weapons to use in New Vegas are, like many people's, guns. Every time I start a new game, I look forward to using a new gun added by a mod. This time, however, I'm going for a different combat style. Get ready to duck and cover, because this time we'll be answering the question, can you beat Fallout New Vegas with only explosions? The weapons allowed for this challenge have to create a visible explosion. Weapons are not limited to the explosives category. Also, I will be somewhat role-playing as Megumin from Konosuba. I'm playing on hard with the Bleedless mod. It's the same as the Bleed mod, but without the weird damage over time effects. There aren't any fitting hairstyles, so I download the Beauty Pack Plus mod. This mod adds more hairstyles, but also more eye colors. Now we can be an authentic Crimson Demon. For special stats, I go with 9 Perception for explosives. Megumin never upgraded her mana, so I chose an Endurance of 2. That's gonna suck. What's also gonna suck is our Charisma of 8. Megumin is the most popular Konosuba girl in America. Intelligence is very high because she is an arch-wizard. I went with low agility because I didn't think VATS would be very important for this run. That turned out to definitely not be true. For tag skills I went with Explosives, Barter, and Unarmed. Explosives is duh. Barter is because Megumin always carries around coupons. And Unarmed because she beats up Yun. For traits I chose Small Frame, which isn't great with explosives, and Good-Natured. After leaving Doc Mitchell's house, I add a red eye patch to our inventory so we can tap into our Chuny powers. By choosing explosives as a tag skill, we start out with 4 dynamites and 2 powder charges. Sunny isn't impressed by me knocking over her bottles with dynamite, so I buy stuff from Chet and leave the town. Outside Goodsprings, I find this cat with the ability to change textures. Very cool. If you do the Powder Gangers quest, they'll give you dynamite every day, so I went to the NCRCF. But I didn't have the money to go inside, so I went to Prim instead. With only 2 DT armor and the Bleedless mod, the convicts kill me super fast. I don't have the DLC items because I installed the Dead Courier's Stash mod, which adds a quest that distributes the items. I had to carefully take cover and lure enemies into mines. Mines are actually much more useful in this playthrough than I thought they would be. The quest mod I mentioned earlier is given by Johnson Nash. It's to find the 5 couriers that delivered the things that weren't the Platinum Chip. One of them is right outside his house. Indoors, mines are more effective than dynamite or grenades. Those tend to bounce around and go where you don't want them to. After saving Beagle, I went back to Chet and got enough caps to go into the NCRCF. Carter here sells a small amount of explosives. We get the quest from Eddie and tell Chavez to back down. Luckily there's no Deathclaw here this time. We get the bounty hunter to leave and get intel on when the NCR will attack. This time I'm gonna put the NCR in charge of Prim, so I start the journey to the Mojave outpost. I never noticed this before, but the ants move in a line from their hole like ants do in real life. That's a nice detail. On the way there, I level up and take Educated, because Megumin is educated. A traveling trader at the outpost sells ammo for weapons we'll have in the future, so I preemptively buy some. And it's great that I did because Lacey is selling a grenade pistol. This will be helpful in fights where I don't have time to throw grenades or place mines. I save a raccoon from a scorpion and obliterate the ants on the highway. Now Major Knight can divert troops to take over Prim. I then head to Nipton to talk to Vulpus and get the booted quest with boxcars. I got quest rewards at the outpost and went back to Eddie. I leveled up to 6 and got the first rank of the Demolition Expert perk. The NCR started their attack on the facility, and I killed 4 troopers in 2 shots. For some reason, this didn't lower my reputation with them. Now it's time to make our way to Novak. The Vipers on the way were pretty difficult, but I defeated them by strategically using cover. One of the couriers is dead in the trunk of the wrecked highwayman. He has the armored vault suit, which is still pretty good at this point in the game. I fast travel to Brockflower Cave and kill a whole pile of Night Stalkers with 1 shot from the grenade pistol. Freeing the captured Powder Gangers makes the Legion hostile, and I didn't want to lower my reputation with them. The assassins would be a pain. So I dropped a stick of dynamite next to them, became hidden, and shot it. If it kills him in 1 hit, you won't gain any faction infamy from it. It's a neat little exploit. Once in Novak, Manny wants us to get the ghouls out of Repcon. They won't leave until the Nightkin are gone, so we go to talk to their leader. He says they're there for a shipment of stealth boys. The room they're supposed to be in is occupied by a ghoul named Harland. He says he won't leave until he knows the fate of his friend, so we have to go look for her. The Nightkin will attack you even after talking to their leader. If you kill too many of them, he will get mad and attack you too. So I snuck past all of them but the jailer. I took his key and found Harlan's dead girlfriend and reported back to him. He left, and after inspecting the room, the stealth boys aren't there. Reporting back to the Nightkin leader, he gets his friends to leave in search of them. The ghouls go down to the basement, and we have to pick up some stuff for their rockets. I went back to the Powder Ganger's base to get some more supplies, and Carter had a grenade rifle for sale. It's better than the grenade pistol. I get the igniting agent and thrust control modules. Then I realized that I forgot to get fingerless gloves when I started playing, so I go back to Goodsprings and get them. I level up to 10 and get the Mad Bomber perk. Now, they can board their rockets and reach their explosive destination. I left Repcon and all the ghouls had respawned, but I didn't have enough explosives to kill them. So I ran away to Novak and a super mutant killed them. In Boulder City, I convinced the cons to release the hostages and remembered that I can craft things now. I bought microfusion cells and made over 50 MFC grenades. We're not going to run out of grenades for the rest of the playthrough. This NCR radio guy was hanging out in here with Johnson Nash. I found another dead courier by the El Dorado Dry Lake. After that, I headed towards the strip, but I took a detour to Vault 19 to help the Powder Gangers there. Cook wants us to use the sulfur beneath the vault to make explosives, but the caves are infested with geckos. After killing all of them, we have to go to Red Rock Canyon to ask if the Powder Gangers can join the cons. Papa Khan accepts, and we return to Cook, completing the quest. On the way to the strip, I discover a bunch of locations, including the Gunrunners. This gives us access to new weapons. I buy a 25mm grenade APW, 12-gauge explosive rounds, an RPG, and a long barrel for the grenade rifle. The RPG is effective, but the animation is totally sucky. After blowing up some aliens, we find the 4th dead courier. He has the Mercenary's grenade rifle, which would have been great at the beginning of the game. To get to the strip, I put on an NCR uniform and take the monorail. I convinced Benny to meet me alone in his room, and blew him up with a stick of dynamite. Mr. House paid us for the chip, and we had to sit through his demonstration. We leveled up to 17 and got the splash damage perk. Mr. House wants us to go talk to Caesar, but first we're gonna go find the last courier. He's by a bunch of Cazadors that I blow up with the RPG. After selling stuff, I bought an anti-material rifle and head to Cottonwood Cove. I traded in dog tags for grenades I don't need, and took the raft to the fort. Caesar wants us to blow up the Securitrons, but we're not gonna. Vulpes and Lucius have quests we will do though. But first we're gonna activate Mr. House's Securitrons. He then wants us to ally with the Boomers, so we'll head there. We can't do the Ant quest because if you kill them with explosives, they'll explode the whole room. We listen to Pete, fix the array, and get Jack his girlfriend. When you are liked, you can ask Pearl for the howitzer part, but you can steal it before that too. I thought you needed to be idolized to raise the bomber, but I guess it's only liked. After raising the bomber and recruiting the Boomers, we have to deal with the Omertas. We're gonna do Bye Bye Love first though. You can't do it after finishing the Omerta's quest. We have to deliver messages back and forth between Joanna and Carlito. Carlito is in Vault 21, which is the location for the quest Vulpes gave us. Some Omerta thugs are messing with a lady and we tell them to stop. To finish off Bye Bye Love, we help Joanna escape Gamora and blow up some goons with our shotgun. Instead of actually doing the Omerta's quest, I'm just gonna kill them. We go back to Mr. House and ask who his favorite NSFW artist is. Also, he wants us to destroy the Brotherhood of Steel. I traveled to Powder Ganger Camp North and watched them friendly fire. I went past Sloan and hunted Deathclaws with explosive rounds from the anti-material rifle. I looped back around to Hidden Valley, and the Brotherhood took all our stuff and put a bomb collar on our neck. This is actually my first time agreeing to that. They want us to get rid of an NCR Ranger, so we convince him to leave. We then help the nerd with the virus because we're going to put Hardin in charge. That way we can do their quest without going to the vaults. We still have to get the holotapes though. One is by Black Mountain, one is by the Boomers, and one is at the Repcon office. After bringing those back to Hardin, you can oust McNamara as Elder. Now that we're accepted by the BOS, we can go back to House. With 80 speech, we convince him to spare them. This is added by the main story alterations mod. It mostly allows making alliances that were impossible in vanilla. My biggest complaint is that it doesn't implement the cut option to get Mr. House to join the NCR. I don't think there's a mod that does that yet. That would be the best result for the Mojave. I saved Kimball and thought I should have let the Vertibird blow up, but I didn't want to reload a save. Also, being vilified with the ENCR would be annoying, so I just continued on. Mr. House wants us to install a chip at the El Dorado substation. After doing that, Victor showed us the strip getting slightly brighter. The last thing for us to do is Hoover Dam, and I've brought the most powerful explosive weapon, the Fat Man. I don't think I've ever actually used the Fat Man before. Like in the Nest video, the biggest threat was my own explosions. The Fat Man killed everything in one hit. Once I got inside Hoover Dam, I convinced the heavy troopers to leave and installed Mr. House. The Fat Man is unusable inside, so I switched to the grenade APW. I still managed to blow myself up with that though. I went back outside and died to something. Maybe an airstrike? After blowing up more Legion, we reached the Legate's camp. I loaded the Burger King nuke into my weapon and killed the Legate. And myself. So I tried again with a weaker nuke and ended it with one final... I used a Salesman Weekly and convinced Oliver to withdraw with barter. We talked to House and beat Fallout New Vegas with only explosions. I'm grateful for the support I got from my last video. If you have any suggestions for challenges, share them in the comments. Like and subscribe for more FNV adventures.